I want to talk about Sergio Aguero. This is something that is probably inside the newspapers today rather than on the back pages because, of course, it came from Saturday night, the game between Manchester City and Arsenal. Sergio Aguero basically put his arm on Sian Massey-Ellis' shoulder, rubbed it along her back. It's a clip that's been shared millions of times, seen millions of times on social media. And I guess he tried to reach for the correct adjective immediately here about this, and it definitely feels patronising. It feels a bit slimy. You've got Pep Guardiola coming out after the game saying, "Come on, guys, Sergio is the nicest person I ever met in my life. Look for problems in other situations, not in this one." And I was kind of thinking about this and like how those comments are quite interesting because it, in a way, suggests the normalization of this sort of behaviour on some level within football. And the fact that he is defending Sergio Aguero as a nice guy is one thing, but it also suggests that there's a chance here that Sergio Aguero perhaps feels he's done nothing wrong either. And I guess that speaks to an acceptance of this patronising attitude, which I think is kind of being shown in full force here on Saturday night, that, you know, this culture of implicit intimidation, if you want to use that phrase, is so ingrained that there isn't even an acceptance by anybody here that something might be wrong. Like, I accept that the manager tends to stick up for the player here, but I think it actually speaks to a wider cultural issue here in football. So what you've got then is a blowback to this, as you always have on social media. You've got a lot of people saying, but look at all these football players touching male refs and all that sort of thing. And I think to make that argument, you've got to put everything that exists into a vacuum. You've got to dispel the why here and not bring into play any cultural significance of anything in the world when it comes to these things. And I don't think that's a fair thing to do when you discuss anything really, but especially when it comes to football. So if you take that argument on, you ask yourself, why would a player put his hands on a male ref? Like, it could be to do with aggression, it could be to do with being pissed off with a decision that wouldn't go your way. And then you ask that same question about why would a player put his hands on a female ref, and all those same reasons could exist. But it could also be for a whole host of other reasons, a whole host of other things that are present everywhere in society, and things that I think are particularly underlined when you get to football, which has been an industry that is largely male-dominated forever. So people are kind of like making this ridiculous argument. How can you expect equality when you are judging the female refs different to the male refs? And I'll finish up on this. I'm not sure how you can actually skew it that way. Like, the question surely is, how can you expect equality when you've got one of the most famous footballers in the world, the famous footballers in the league, putting his arm around a female official and rubbing his hand across her back? I think that's probably the question, isn't it?
Yeah, don't put your hands on people. Don't put your hands on people. It's not that hard. Keep your hands to yourself.